Right. Um, that is everything. So it is time for Otherworld. Who do we start with? Hmm. We can start with Journ. Journ, then Alton. Alright, so here is my team for Journ. We got Garius with the Gatekeeper Staff, Catherine with the Everlasting Diamond, just providing some supplemental heals, and then my DPS, I'm running Lorentheel, so he's buffing. And then Huberg and Wellby. So Voresh is really good against Journ because you can block the defense up. I have Voresh committed elsewhere though, so we fortunately just have enough DPS that I can just ignore it and power through it. But Voresh is really good against Journ. Because you'll do a lot more damage if you're blocking that defense up buff. This mitigates a lot of damage. We do have good resistance so that I don't get my ultimate energy stolen. So she's at 185, but remember you're getting 125 from here as well. So both of them are over 300 plus all the bonuses. Right now we have bonuses max, but this team was working prior to Otherworld. It's pretty basic. If you want, you can control when you ult for damage to try to avoid the defense up. Again, my team just does enough damage. I don't really have to worry about it, so I just let them ult whenever. But yeah, if you're struggling to do enough damage, just wait for that defense up, then you go. You do a lot more damage. In terms of healing, I have Catherine on auto, but she's way more efficient on manual. Because she's gonna like now she would heal these guys, right? So in the beginning of the fight doesn't really matter, but later in the fight, that's kind of a problem. So basically what I try to do is Journ goes, and then now is where I would heal with Catherine, and just heal herself and Garius. They're the only two taking damage. And then Garius, I like him to use his big heal with shield somewhere around here in the bar. Right after this skill and then before the ultimate. That's pretty much it. At some point in the fight, I'll readjust times on Lorentheel and Huberg, because Lorentheel is a little bit faster. And you just want to make sure that he's not too fast, because then your rally and your attack up buff can fall off. So you obviously don't want that to happen. So we'll let him get full, we'll let Huberg catch up a little bit, and then turn Lorentheel back on. For Wellby, I just let him go whenever, because of how he works with his mechanic. I feel like he does more damage when you just let him go when he can go. Otherwise, you're wasting a lot of his ultimates. Like, see how he's back up to 75% ultimate there, right? So I just let him go when he goes. Catherine's a little too slow right now. We don't need heals, so I'll get her situated after Journ's ult here. Garius can kind of solo heal this for a long time. And I do have both Huberg and Wellby in the Inventor set. I did test Huberg in Inventors and Gambler set, and I get better results with Inventors set. So, and that's even after the nerf. So we're a little over halfway in the fight, and we're already pushing 22 million. Not even close to dying on anyone. No attack penalty. No ultimate reduction. I'm gonna reset Catherine one more time here. I have to reset Garius timer. Falling a little bit behind. I'll let Huberg catch up to Lorentheel as well. So we died there by doing that, so probably should have done that sooner. But we're already over 22 mil, so doesn't matter too much. The alternative is just giving Garius and Catherine a smidge more skill haste, so it's not a problem. You don't have to worry about it. For both my guys, they're just a little too slow against Journ. But 30 mil, pretty easy. So once again for the gear, Huberg, Inventor set, crit damage gloves, pretty good stats, eyeball. Wellby also, or I have Wellby I guess in Gambler? I guess he's not in a 3-piece set. I guess we went with stats. We could probably give him an Inventor set, sacrifice his stats a little bit, gain a little more damage. But he's at 100% crit rate, over 200 damage, so he does have really good stats. 4,000 attack. Lorentheel I did build for damage. He does have the Manicore statue, it's really good. He spams this battle skill. 420 damage every time any ally casts a spell that consumes rally, he casts this again. So Lorentheel actually does legit damage. And I have him in Inventors. And then as said, Garius, Gatekeeper Staff, 300 plus resistance. Catherine, Everlasting Diamond, 300 plus resistance. That protects them against the ultimate reduction. Spill it out. You want to see the leaks? So, Elminster, he is fire. His passive is very mediocre. For every enemy that has a debuff, he gains 10 resistance. That's it. That's the whole passive. Just himself. His battle skill is a shield, but it's not screen wide. It's kind of a weird shape. It's like a square or rectangle around him. It's like 4x5 or something like that. And it's a shield and 5 seconds of control immunity. So that's not bad. And then his ultimate is diamond shaped AoE that does attack penalty and I believe it was accuracy penalty. So he's decent. Could be better, could be worse. Same as Mithrasa's range. Mithrasa. The nice thing though is there's a new artifact and it's enlightenment based. And it increases shields, but also increases the duration of shields. So that's a really nice artifact that I think most people are going to want to go for. I think the artifact is better than the hero. Pretty good support for fire. Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely viable. Assuming it takes 30, I don't know. It's going to depend on what the rest of the summon offers, honestly. Like, if you are limited on dice and you need to spend 30 dice to get him, but then have the decision between him or the artifact, I think you go the artifact first. Legendary or epic? I have to assume he's legendary. I would be shocked if he was not legendary. Alright, so now we got Alton. I have 4 teams with Alton. 3 of them are Ice Blast. Well, one is like Ice Blast Frost hybrid. And then one's Ice Blast, or one's Frost. So for this team, we got Elvis. I have him Witch's Remains. It's not very effective. If I had Vidimir actually leveled, or literally anyone else usable here, I'd have them with Witch's Remains. Vidimir is literally only here because I just wanted the attack aura. I did not need anything more than this. So if you're gonna run a team like this, you could literally replace Vidimir with just about anyone and have a better team. I just didn't need to do it. So the important part is Elvis. He has enough accuracy. He's going to be doing recharge speed penalty. He's in Ciro's Whisper set. He's going to be proccing this every time he does recharge speed penalty. Elvis is very tanky on his own. He shields himself. He gives himself defense up. So he is a solid tank. And then we got Ardreth. She's booked. Gatekeeper staff. She's spamming lots of heals. She's in the protection set. And then for damage, we have Gerthin, built really well, Manicore statue, Inventor set, good stats. You only need 80% crit rate with her because she gives herself crit rate bonus. So once you get to 80, you're good. And then because I don't have any, all my other Ice Blast guys are deployed. We're using Zhorak. I'm just letting him spam his ultimate. 40% damage up. But he's terrible. By far, I think the worst Ice Blast hero. But he's the only one I got that I could put on this team, so it's good enough. And like I said, Vidimir, he's just here for the aura, just to help the damage a little bit more. I didn't want to build anyone else. I just threw the Mona Lisa set on him, so he does some healing, because he doesn't really offer anything else. This team can run full auto. The only thing I do is I have Gerthin wait for Zhorak to go first the very first time. That's it. The rest is full auto. So if you have Elvis, you have Ardreth, you can run a really good comp, and you can basically just bring in any DPS you want to fill the gap. If you're struggling with survival, you could bring in like this, like instead of Vidimir, I could have like Gulal, and you could be doing attack penalty, and that would help for survival. But yeah, I find Ardreth and Elvis to be a pretty good combo. Obviously, if you have Garius free, Garius and Ardreth would be a disgusting combo, but I think Garius is good enough. Well, I know Garius is good enough. You can have him carry his own team, like I do with my Journ team. So when you're doing Otherworld, you want to spread your teams out, right? Or you spread your heroes out a bunch of different teams. So if you're interested in doing more than just like 6, you kind of have to try to take one of the superstars and put them on a team by themselves. So Garius is the carry for his team, Ardreth is the carry for this team, and that's kind of my theme. Each team has like one carry that's keeping everyone alive. And then I'm just barely trying to do enough damage with, you know, the damage I bring in, spreading damage out between the different teams. So even with Zhorak, we're halfway done. Vidimir's doing nothing, and you know we're almost to 22 million already. Vidimir finally died at level 30, but not much of a loss. Basically just less damage absorption, but also less healing that is wasted on him too, so it's kind of a net neutral difference when Vidimir dies. Already well over 22 million, still have 90 seconds left. And that's the end. So they lived the whole 5 minutes. Gerthin died. She got hit like 3 or 4 times in a row. Happens sometimes. There's a lot of RNG with this fight. 30 million though, easily over the requirement. And this team has a lot of room to be improved. So if you're not running 15 teams, you're running 10 teams or something, you could definitely make a lot of improvements to this. So once again, you got Gerthin, Manicore Statue, Inventor's Set, 80% crit rate, 202 damage, good attack. Try to give her a little bit of defense. If you're running her exactly at like 1064 or 1100 defense, she's really squishy. So if you can get her to like 14, 15, 1600, helps a lot. Zhorak, it's really hard to make him do good damage, especially if you're not running him on a full like legendary team. So I'm just feeding Gerthin as much as I can with the damage up. Again, Vidimir, he's just there for the Yara. Doesn't really offer anything else to the team. Elvis, very tanky, enough accuracy to land the passive. Cyril's Whisper set to buff everyone every time he lands the passive. I give him Witch's Remains. Doesn't really land much though. But it does give him the accuracy. So. And then Ardreth. I try to get attack speed on runes for her. So we got 7%. We got 22%. She's in the protection set, mitigating damage for everyone. Gatekeeper staff gives her skill haste, overheal shields, and another 30 million team. So let's look at our second Alton team. Got Vinyara, she's the carry for this team. You could basically insert anything. 1 healer, any healer that fits, and 3 any DPS, and you have a team. It's that easy. The hard part is having Vinyara. So we're using Rava. She's bringing us the crit damage aura. She's not booked. She does have Witch's Remains. She is really good at landing it. She'd be way better if she were booked. I did give her a lot of skill haste though, so we got the recharge down to 20 seconds despite not being booked. I don't care about her landing Frost. That doesn't do anything. We have Vinyara. She's booked. She's got skill haste. Very fast. 15-second on the ultimate. This lets me spam this. Obviously, you need enough accuracy to do it. And I gave her a lot of attack for shields. That's how her shields scale. You failed the hard part of this team. Then we're using Merideth. Heals just fine. I threw the Gatekeeper staff on her, a little bit of extra shielding. Mona Lisa set, so when she does her ultimate, she heals as well from that. As much HP as I could give her. Her other stats don't matter. And then my DPS. So we got Nord. Gave him the Cup Gambler set. He's got decent crit rate and pretty good crit damage and mediocre attack. But his role is just to feed Seidic with ice crystals. So Seidic I built just like Gerthin, only you gotta give a little more crit rate. Gerthin gets that 20% extra from her buff. Seidic does not. So you gotta make sure he has enough crit rate. Pretty good damage, pretty good attack. He actually is pretty good. He does very well damage. And then for the timings, we have Vinyara. This basically is always going to go right at the edge of Alton's skill and bump it back. So it's 17.9 seconds. It just rounds to 17.8999. And then I just want to make sure that Nord goes before Seidic. And then Rava with the Witch's Remains. So she's going at 15.7. So then a couple seconds, that lets a couple ticks, because this ticks once every 1.5 seconds. And then these guys go. I could probably even add even more time. You could do like 19 and a half. And yeah, with the timings, this team's full auto. See, as the bar gets full here, Vinyara's gonna go, push it back, right at the max. Puts up attack penalty. Now Rava does her thing, defense penalties up. Then the DPS go. That's pretty much it. Merideth just heals when she can heal. This is by far, I think, my best team. When everything's been broken down. Nord and Seidic is a really good duo. Meow. He heard you. Yeah, Vinyara, 100% reduction. It is incredibly powerful. And you don't even need a book her. So like if you have her and you're short on scrolls, you don't have to book her. You won't be able to do it quite as fast as I'm doing it here. So I did 17.9. You would have to do 23.9 as the interval. But she's still going to have a 100% chance of doing it. Imagine not buying like legendary scrolls. Yeah, I've been buying them every month myself. It's hard not to at this point. I still have plenty of heroes to build, so. But yeah, I mean this team's gonna hit 22 million before the halfway mark. And they have really good survivability. I mean you can see Seidic, he's doing a lot of damage. Merideth is doing just fine healing. I mean a common, right? She's not even level 100, level 90. A level 90 common. She's doing just fine. The Mona Lisa set really helps to make crappy healers actually like decent healers. So Rava got hit by a bunch in a row there, it looked like. That's just the RNG with this fight. So if I were struggling to hit 22 million, I just run it again. And you kind of just wait till you get a run where the random damage, you know, gets spread out instead of hitting the same person 5 times in a row. Vinyara is your top 3 most wanted heroes. Yeah, I was really happy when I pulled her. She was definitely one I really wanted. And I've used her pretty much everywhere since. Just such a good kit. With Rava dead, they're still over 40 million. Plenty of room to spare. So I think this team yesterday did like over 50 million. Had a little bad RNG this time today, so had a couple deaths, but they still beat the mark by 22 million. Seidic is definitely, he can definitely do some damage. Take a look one more time here. Again, Seidic, you build very similar to like Gerthin. The only difference is you got to give him more crit rate because he doesn't have the inherent 20%. Manicore statue, Inventor's set. Nord, I like to do attack speed because of his passive. When the hero deals damage, there's a 20% chance of granting 1 stack of Ice Crystal to the Ice Blast ally with the highest attack, other than himself. So, attack speed is really good for him. He's feeding everyone else lots of crystals, or your main Ice Blast DPS lots of crystals. So the Wine of Dragon Blood is really good. Gambler set. Attack speed on runes if you can find it. Merideth, just your best healing artifacts. Mona Lisa set, lots of HP. She can get the job done. Rava's solid. You're getting the crit damage aura. You're getting 10 seconds of hits for your crown or Witch's Remains for defense penalty. And then Vinyara is the cornerstone of this team with the ult reduction, attack penalty, the shields. Very good kit. Now we'll look at my third Alton team. So this one, you got Bleddyn. He is actually the like one singular Ice Blast hero that you can run by himself. And he's gonna do good. If you run Gerthin or like Beldel by themselves, they're not so good because they need people feeding them ice crystals. If you run like Shina or Zhorak or Nord by themselves, they're not so good because they're feeding ice crystals. But Bleddyn does both. He's good at using them and he's good at generating them, and he can generate them for himself. So Bleddyn is legit by himself. Voresh is really good. Obviously you're getting the healing that he does, but his block buff can actually prevent Alton from getting rally, so that makes you take a lot less damage. I'm using Lethander. He does speed recharge penalty. Drizzt is solid just by himself for damage, plus Guinevere is nice to use because it's one more target to soak up damage, spreading damage out a bit. And then Nessa's doing some attack penalty on the battle skill and ultimate reduction. So we got Bleddyn back here. Again, built just like my Gerthin Manicore statue. All of his skills are 80%. They only need 80% crit because he gets 20% passive. So try to get him as close to 80 as I could, then damage and attack. Drizzt, he's got the eyeball gambler set because he's got good attack speed. He's at 86% crit rate, which is pretty decent. Good crit damage, good attack. And then we use the crit damage aura. Voresh is wearing Witch's Remains, Hero's Whisper set, so he's going to be doing defense penalty with his triple hit. Pretty much lands every time. Then we have Nessa. I put her in the Gatekeeper staff just for the extra skill haste. She doesn't heal, but the skill haste is not bad, plus she gets the extra defense. I don't really care about her damage. She's the wrong element. She's not going to do damage. Mine's also not booked. And then Lethander is wearing the Hourglass. He's also not booked, but I just have him just to try to land recharge speed penalty. Makes it easier to survive. That's basically all he's doing. Gambler set to do a little bit of damage because at least he is the right element. He is ice. Yeah, we'll see it in action. So yeah, again you get Guinevere, which is an extra target for Alton to hit. Spreads damage out a bit. Never seen Lethander used? Yeah. When you're building 15 different teams, you got to go deep in the roster. So he kind of just had what I was looking for. Phaessa would be a better upgrade, but I have Phaessa on my last team, so he's like a much worse Phaessa. And in terms of timings, the only timing I have is just Voresh goes and then Drizzt and Bleddyn go. So there's really nothing too special with timings here. Just make sure you have the right order. Defense penalty guy goes first, defense penalty lands, then your DPS go. Yeah, I mean you can see Bleddyn, he's by himself, but he's still rocking good damage. I think he is the only Ice Blast hero that can do that. You can run him without a team. Again, people aren't even like fully leveled. You got Lethander, he's only 90. Nessa, Drizzt are only 96. This is probably my second worst team. So they usually kind of barely hit 22 million. And sometimes they fail if like Bleddyn or someone dies quickly. And that's just because, I mean, there's very little survival here, right? It's just Voresh. There's only so much Voresh can do on his own. And there it is, 22 million. Very good DPS though, not even at the midway mark, and we're already over 22. Do you get more consistency if you blocked alt from rally? I don't think so, because we're just gonna lose to longevity anyway. I cannot heal more than the damage I take. And I kind of need to do as much damage as I can, as quickly as I can. And I feel like I'd be holding my alt for too long, trying to get that timed. And I'd rather just kind of have these guys go, have Voresh go, put up defense penalty, then have the DPS go. I do have them skewed a little bit. So the timing I use there, let me look at it here quick. So we have them at 21 seconds, and I found this worked well, where late in the fight, Voresh is getting timed where he is blocking like the ultimate at the end of the fight. So this was kind of, once I made this adjustment, setting in the 21 seconds, and then finding like the sweet spot for the start time, although it ended up being basically just the default. That kind of helped me push past 22 consistently. Yeah, I don't think trying to hold it always for the ultimate is gonna work if you're running recharge speed penalty. It's too much time wasted. I need these guys to do as much damage as they can in the first 2 minutes. All right, so we will review it. Again, Bleddyn is like the one Ice Blast hero you can run by themselves. You build them just like you would Gerthin or something. Mana Core statue, 80% crit rate, good crit damage, good attack. Drizzt I have with the eyeball, gambler set, and as much crit rate, damage, attack as I can muster. Voresh, Cyril's Whisper set, which is remains for defense penalty. High attack, so he heals well. I don't really care about his crit here. I want as much attack as I can. sufficient accuracy. Lethander, he does okay damage, you know, he's in Gambler set. But the only thing I really care about is him just landing this recharge speed penalty. That's why he's there. That's why I picked him. So skill haste, use this as much as he can. He's not even booked, so he doesn't even have a 100% chance to do it. But it's good enough. And then kind of similar for Nessa, I just built her tanky. She's the wrong element here, so I don't care about her damage. She's not going to do much damage anyway. And I'm just wanting her to hit this ultimate energy reduction, and I'm wanting her to land this attack penalty. That's pretty much all she's there for. Now we will look at the fourth and final Alton team. So this is a Frost team. We got Phaessa in here. So she's like the upgraded version of Lethander by miles. We got Usha Hochadir for damage. And then Ice MC for survival with shields, and then Quarion for heals. You need everyone bunched up so that Quarion can land his heals. So I have Quarion like off front tanking. He's got almost 3,000 defense, Gatekeeper staff for overheal shielding, plus the skill haste. Mona Lisa set, pretty good HP. For Usha, I put her in the music box. She pretty much always has a shield, 100% crit rate, 210 damage, 4,000 attack. Gambler set. Hochadir, he's got Witch's Remains. He's not booked, but he is a default of 19 seconds, so it does work without him being booked. Inventor set, enough accuracy to land both Witch's Remains and Frost debuff for Usha. And then we got the Ice MC. I just stacked him with as much attack as I could. Mona Lisa set to help healing, but he does not have much HP, so doesn't really do a whole lot. And then we got Phaessa. She's also not booked, but we do have her in the Hourglass, so she's fast enough. Zero's Whisper set, just spamming the recharge speed penalty. The battle skill is also nice. You get damage reduction, damage delay. And then she's giving the 20% debuff chance for Hochadir, which is nice because he's not 100% without being booked. So that helps. And the only R we have is accuracy, so that's what we have to just run. For timing, this is what we're running with. Not sure why we'd have this at 14.9. There must have been a reason. I don't remember what the reason was though. Oh, probably for Zero's Whisper. That's why. So she goes first, puts up Zero's Whisper, then Hochadir goes, does Witch's Remains, then Usha goes. We have these at 19.7 because I guess we could even drop it further. Usha picked up more skill haste, it looks like, so we could even do 19.1. Yeah, like when I'm running DPS, I look for like the highest time, right? And if it's less than 20 seconds, there's no reason to make the cycle 20 seconds, right? If they're not dependent on anything else, then reduce the time. You save a second each rotation. It's worth it. Yeah, so Usha's pretty much gonna have shields like the entire time between herself, Quarion's over healing to shields, and the Ice MC. So the music box is like the perfect artifact to use here. Yeah, Phaessa, she goes. She didn't land it because she's not booked. Hochadir goes, you get Frost, defense penalty, then Usha goes. This team doesn't have the best survivability, but it does have pretty good DPS, so it usually works pretty well. They can pretty safely make 22 million. If Phaessa were booked, it'd be way better. I'd have guaranteed recharge speed penalty landing each time. We'd have a battle skill that fire faster. See Usha, she's doing over 700k per ultimate when everything is up. Just getting over the halfway mark here. Sometimes this team does lose because Usha dies late in the fight. I would like to give her more defense, but I can't find a good rune in my stash that kind of fits what I need for her. So I'd rather keep the DPS stats that her current runes have, rather than purely sacrificing it for defense. But it does cause us to sometimes have to rerun it, because she'll get hit like 4 times in a row, and it's too much for her to survive with only like 1100 defense or whatever she's at. But they're looking pretty good this run. One more alt rotation, they got it. Phaessa landed the speed recharge penalty, so yeah, we're locked in. There it is, minute 50 to spare. And just like that, they all fall over, but good enough. 26.8. Should putting up solid numbers. Hochadir is not doing too shabby himself, even not being booked. So we'll recap it again. We got Usha, Music Box. With all these guys, she has shields basically the entire fight. Gambler set, 100% crit rate, 210 damage, almost 4000 attack. Hochadir having Witch's Remains, Inventor's set, enough accuracy to land Frost and Witch's Remains. Pretty good damage stats himself. If he were booked, he'd be doing even better. Phaessa, she's just here for speed recharge penalty, so we gave her Hourglass. She's not booked. Zero's Whisper set. So I have her going before the DPS. Lands this. Everyone gets the attack buff. Battle skill is also still really useful. Ice MC just stacked as much attack as I could. Mona Lisa set to help a little bit of healing. Not really anything else he's doing. And then Quarion, Mona Lisa set as well. Good HP, good defense. Gatekeeper staff to turn heals and shields. That is all the Alton teams. Elminster sucks. I would definitely not say he sucks. I do think I was hoping for a DPS, especially for lightning. I don't know. I don't know why they went with fire. Another non-healer shielder for fire seems a bit, I don't know, questionable, but I don't think he's bad. I think he's definitely going to be good for quite a few players. A support who can do attack penalty, that's always useful. A support who can do shields, it's also useful. His passive is probably the worst part about him. If he had a better passive, I think he'd be a lot more interesting. But his passive only affects himself, and it's only resistance, which is very, very, very niche of when you actually need that. Remind you of the passive, for every debuff on an enemy up to 10, he gains 10 resistance. But it's only him. So at best, you're getting 100 extra resistance on him, which is like, okay. Alright, so next, let us do Necro and Fire. Actually, we'll do those last. Let's do Poison and Lightning. Yeah, and then Enlightenment are. Alright, so Lossenia is the toughest boss out of all 6 of these by a mile, in my opinion. I only have one team, and it only works because I have Oggok. I have seen people use Furbath and really good lightning poison supports to be able to tank her, but it's melee get ravaged by Lossenia. Her battle skill, 6 seconds of damage. This hits really hard. Her ultimate, what was it? 5 seconds of damage, really hurts. And then she's bouncing this around. I mean, it is the most melee unfriendly fight I've ever seen. So I opt to not even use a tank. I'm running 3 rare poison supports, or 3 rare poison DPS. And then we have Oggok. He's going to keep us alive for the ultimate. And then Garian as just some supplemental healing to make sure no one dies in between. That's the strat. So we have Sigrid, Eyeball, Inventor set. I don't care about her accuracy. We don't need her attack penalty here because I'm using Oggok. So good crit rate, good damage, good attack. Eli, we opted for the Cup, Gambler set. With the Cup, you're getting 20% crit rate for 10 seconds per ultimate. So we didn't take him to max crit rate. He has pretty good crit damage, pretty good attack. Jagel, I brought him back out. We used him last season, we're using him again. He's got enough accuracy. He's got Witch's Remains. He's got Cyril's Whisper set. He's doing attack penalty 1 on his battle skill. And then he's doing healing prohibition on his ultimate. Plus, the last hit of his ultimate does ultimate energy reduction, which is why I really like him. You get 3 chances to land Witch's Remains, and you're getting ultimate energy reduction. And if you need it, you're getting a little bit of attack penalty. It's a really good kit. And he actually does good damage too. 900% damage on the ultimate. So he is solid in my opinion. Oggok, we just have in the mirror. Everyone drops to 1 HP halfway through the fight, so then he's going to heal 40%, or he's going to heal 30% more at that point. So it helps everyone kind of bounce back up to high health. Mona Lisa set, which really doesn't do anything at all. Since he cast this, everyone's immortal anyway. I don't really need that, but it's good stat gear, so that's why he's wearing it. Garian, not booked. Everlasting Diamond for extra healing. Mona Lisa set. Again, he's just there for supplemental heals after immortality drops. For timings, these do actually matter. So 19.1 is where I found things to cycle with Jigel's ultimate energy reduction. So I have him go at 13.2. We have Oggok go at 19, which is right before Lossenia. You need to use this before Lossenia does her ultimate. You can't do it at the same time, and I would not recommend doing it after. So I like to do it at 19. This will fire right before Lossenia does her ultimate. The DPS I have go initially right after Jigel, and then I just have them on default timers from then on out. And then Garian, I have him go immediately after Oggok's immortality disappears. Now my Garian is not booked, he is not fast enough until later in the fight when his passive starts kicking in. So you'll see in the beginning of the fight, he can't keep up with this 19.1. So after like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, I manually readjust Garian and then kind of get him into sync. But Garian could be anyone. He could be Hexandra. Literally any support would work. He was just my worst support that I had that I wasn't using elsewhere. And that's literally all I needed. So that's why I used Garian. There's no other reason. He's just there because he's the worst one to do the job, and then everyone else was being used elsewhere. You'll see ultimate reduction. That time we actually missed it, so that's going to throw the timings off. I'm actually just going to redeploy. That happened so soon, we'll just redeploy. But there is always that 3% chance that you fail those things, right? So we hit that 3% chance there. There you see that the ultimate gets reduced. And you'll see Oggok, he's going to put this up right at the last second. Then Lossenia immediately goes, we're protected. As soon as that fades, Garian throws up some heals. And that's basically the fight. That's it. So yeah, again, Garian, he kind of falls behind because he's not booked. So at like the 3-minute mark, I'll just manually adjust his timing. By that point, these guys start dropping to 1 HP. So then Garian starts getting his passive to proc, which allows him to actually be fast enough. I could probably just adjust his initial start time to account for that, and it would take care of that, so I wouldn't have to manually adjust it, but it's not a big deal. Like we could have his start time be like a second faster, or like a 1.5 seconds faster or something. So we're gonna skip this next one on Garian. You'll see how he's getting those stacks there. He had like 4 stacks there for a second. That's what we need him to be at to be fast enough. He just doesn't get that at the beginning of the fight. We don't take enough damage. Alright, and now we'll put him back on auto. Yeah, this team is basically 100% always works. The only time it doesn't is if Jajel fails to reduce the ultimate energy and then Oggok gets off time. I could mainly correct it though when that does happen, so it's not like it has to be a failure, it just needs manual intervention at that point because it throws off the skill times. And we are already at 22 million. So we failed to reduce ultimate energy, so now you can see Oggok is a little slow. So we barely got that off in time. I'll see if he's fast enough for me to do it manual here. Nope. See how long they can hang on. But yeah, that's the only risk with this team is just Jajel failing to reduce the ultimate. He has a 100% chance, but there's always that 3% chance to fail. Yeah, so we lost Garian there. So now it's going to be a little bit hard to keep everyone healed up in between Oggok's ult. Finally got Oggok back to be fast enough. Looks like he failed again, but that's how it goes sometimes. 33 million though, still easily hit the threshold. Jajel doesn't fail to reduce ultimate, the team never dies. That's how it goes sometimes with RNG. Eli's pumping tons of damage, Sigurd's doing good damage, Jajel's even doing good damage, plus he's doing Witch's Remains. And then just one final recap. We got Eli, he's got the cup, Gambler set, the cup, you're getting 20% crit rate, so you don't need to take him to 100, just get him to 80-ish. Good damage, good attack. Sigrid, Eyeball, and Venture set, good crit rate, good crit damage, good attack. Jajel, we have him with the defense penalty artifact, Zero's Whisper set, because he's spamming debuffs, enough accuracy, and then as good of offensive stats as I could manage at that point. Oggok, he just needs to be fast enough to be 19.1. So I have him at 18.9. Put him in the mirror because everyone goes low health, so you get that extra 30% boost late in the fight. And then you just give him enlightenment and attack, so he heals for more. And then Garian could literally be any healer. He was just my worst one. I've used all the others. But Hexandra would be better. No, Garian's not scrolled, so his passive barely gives him enough skill haste during the fight. So my timing's 19.1. He's default 20.8. But a couple minutes into the fight, he starts getting this recharge speed boost, which then lets him be fast enough. And yeah, that's my one and only poison team. Welcome back, Chisua. Shanktor, how's it going? Yeah, with 15 teams, you're kind of forced to literally use anyone who can cast a heal spell. I don't think I have a single person on my roster at this point that can heal that is not on a team. I think they literally are all being utilized. Even Merideth. Stella's being used, Cypherus is being used, Lyco's being used, Megan's being used. I guess Vikuk. We did not deploy Vikuk. He's the last one. So he would probably be better than Garian, honestly. He would get the attack penalty, which would help a little bit. He could cleanse Frost, which I don't think really does anything for Lossenia. I guess he'd be inflicting accuracy penalty, which might help if you have any resistance. And then he'd be healing. So Vikuk would probably be a little bit better than Garian. I don't think I have literally like anyone else though that I haven't used. I guess Enna? We didn't use Enna. Recovery over time. Kind of healing, I guess. But yeah. Alright, so we'll look at my two lightning teams. So these are very, very, very budget friendly teams. So team 1, you got Furbath, you got a level 50 Cypherus, and you got 3 rare Dauntless heroes. That's it. Furbath just up here all alone. I gave him the Hourglass. I need him to be 18 seconds on the recharge time, so with the Hourglass he's 18. I gave him resistance, so he doesn't get taunted and stuff. He still needs enough accuracy as well. And then after that, as much defense as I can give him. So he ended up with 3,500. So he's got a lot of gear requirements here. The Hourglass helps a lot. No one has an Aura on the team. Cypherus doesn't really matter. I just care about this tiny little battle skill, some defense up. That's basically all she's there for. The Diamond, just a little bit more healing. Mona Lisa set, more healing. Again, though, she's literally level 50. Altair is an amazing damage dealer. It kind of surprised me. You want to give him a lot of attack speed. For every 1% extra attack speed gained by the hero, his ultimate does 1% more damage. So even at level 90, he is doing a ton of damage. So I have him in the cup. He's in the gambler set. He doesn't even have attack speed on his runes, and yet he still just does a ton of damage. Yagnots is my defense penalty guy, so he's got accuracy. He's got a triple hit, so that's why we went with the defense penalty. He still does decent damage himself, 280 times 3, 300 on the battle skill. Quick times 2, 8-second recharge, 16-second recharge on the ultimate. So Yagnots is very good. And then Vani surprisingly does good damage too. Her ultimate just does attack speed up, which is nice. It does help. But her battle skill is 450 damage plus attack up to herself. So she does really well with the Mana Core statue. We gave her Gambler set. And then every third basic attack deals additional damage. I don't know how much additional damage this does. It doesn't say. I've never tested to actually see, but she parses well. So Vani is definitely legit. And yeah, this team's just full auto. We just have the DPS timed. We have Furbath. Oh yeah, I'll look at Furbath's timing. His is important. So for Furbath, I have him at 12.2 first cast and then 18 repeat. So this covers you for basically the second battle skill barely because of the animation delay, and then covers the ultimate entirely. The like 4 seconds of the ultimate. And then you want 18 seconds. No one's doing ultimate manipulation here, so he's got to be 18 seconds. And as long as you have attack penalty on for Talwer's ultimate, you don't take that much damage from it. Yeah, you'll see here Altair level 90, and he's gonna be doing a ton of damage. He is legit. So it looks like, alright, we're just gonna adjust this. Vani should be going before Altair, and that'll boost Altair's damage. So she's at 12. He's at 11.8. So I guess I accidentally gave him some skill haste at some point. So this will make him do even more damage because then he'll have the attack up buff. I don't really need it, but just for efficiency's sake. That would be the proper way to set them up. Let Vani go first, give him the attack speed, and then his ultimate's going to do more damage. Yeah. So instead of 112 times 3, now it's 140 something times 3. So that was 100,000 more damage per ultimate by making that change. That will definitely add up. Yeah, this is a really good budget team. And Cypherus could be anyone. Just like I was using Garian with my last team, Cypherus could be any healer. Or a support. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could bring in another attack penalty. I do think the extra healing and the defense up is really good, but you could probably get by with a secondary attack penalty hero with a Mona Lisa set or something. Yeah, Cypherus is just here to just help. She's not really doing anything special. Yeah, I mean, you can see Vani. Vani is really good too. If Altair was 100, he'd be the highest damage dealer, but Vani does impressive damage. Both of them do impressive damage. Yeah, Furbath kind of just takes care of himself. You can see Cypherus, she's doing 20% of the healing, which is nice. She's giving him defense up, but Furbath is incredibly self-sufficient. We're 3 minutes in, not even really close to dying, about to hit the 22 million mark. Plenty of time to spare. And yeah, by bunching everyone over here, no one gets hit by the mushrooms, so you don't have to worry about Furbath getting like taunted and whatnot, but that's why you give him resistance. With 1 minute left, we're finally reached the point where Furbath is actually like legitimately taking some damage. But we've easily crossed the 22 million threshold by now, so either we will survive for the whole 5 minutes or barely die before it. Which should be plenty of time for people to get 22 million out of these guys. So he died with 7 seconds left. $36 million. So yeah, so Altair ended up barely beating Vani. If he was level 100, he would have handedly beat her. And just to do a quick recap, the Furbath, he needs to be able to go 18 seconds with the ultimate. So I gave mine Hourglass. If you don't have the Hourglass, you got to get him to 18-second recast time on the ultimate. I would aim for like 300 plus resistance. You know, you need your 230 plus accuracy. And then as much defense as you can give him. Yagnath, he's doing the Witch's Remains because he's a triple hit on the ultimate. Plus he's got really good cast time. 16 seconds on the ultimate, 8 seconds on the battle skill. Gambler set. Altair, you want a lot of attack speed. So Cup, Gambler set, attack speed runes. And then Vani, she's giving attack speed. So if you're using those two together, make sure your Vani goes first and then Altair goes. Her battle skill is 450 damage, so Mana Core is really good for her. And yeah, just good damage stats. Hey there, Numpkins. Is Elminster good? I mean, I think we need more information about just how much he is actually going to shield with that battle skill. I think he's decent. He'll be decent. He'll be usable. Hey there, One Eye. How's it going, man? You blew your 40, Elio. You got Zhar'loth and Poison Lego. That trio. I don't know which one you mean. You mean Reta? Did I cover Lossenia already? Yes. I can show you again though. One sec. Do we have info about Elminster? Yes. Some information leaked today. His battle skill is like a 4x5. Someone was saying it's the same as Mithraza's. I mean, look at hers. Yeah. So I guess it's 5x5. And his battle skill is a shield and 5 seconds of control immunity. And his ultimate is a diamond-shaped attack penalty and accuracy penalty hit. He is fire element. And then his passive is he gains 10 resistance for every debuff on an enemy. So it's decent. It's okay. You've been busy. Hope all is well. Yeah, It's been going pretty well. Been pretty busy here too, yeah. So my poison team is this. And the only reason it works is because I have Oggok to cheese the ultimate. I have seen people use Furbath and actually tank Lossenia, but I don't think it's worth it. I think it's so much easier to just build a Talwer team if you're going to use Furbath. I feel like unless you just have an insane poison team that can dish out enough damage and survive long enough to do it, it's just not worth it. You can cheese it if you have Oggok or Zephy. Otherwise, just build Talwer teams. Talwer teams are really easy to build. And you can use literally the rare Dauntless heroes. I don't even have Theravel or Avelios. So if you have those guys, that's an entire team right there with DPS. So like that was my one Talwer team, and this is my other Talwer team. Again, extremely free-to-play friendly. We have Volthug tanking, Iola for attack penalty, Nathaniel for heals, and then just 2 DPS. We got Nimbus, and we got Hog. So we got Volthug up here. I build him just like I build Furbath. 300 resistance, enough accuracy, enough skill haste to go in 18 seconds, and then as much defense as I can give him. I did book him because he's got to be fast enough. That also makes his ultimate have a 100% chance to land. Nathaniel, he's also got resistance. I think he's supposed to have the this one for enlightenment and resistance, so that he doesn't get hit by stuff. So he is booked. I can't remember what his skill time is. Are we? So we just have him running on default, so he doesn't need to be booked. It just helps. It's more healing. And then yeah, Mona Lisa set. You don't need to worry about his defense. He's not going to actually take any damage. He just gets hit with crowd control. That's where the resistance comes into play. And then I got Iola back here. She's using Witch's Remains, Cyril's Whisper set. So she's going to be landing that attack penalty. She's going to be doing defense penalty. She's going to give you an attack up from the set. And I did build her for some damage, so she does do okay damage. There's nothing else for her to do, so may as well have her do some damage. Then we got Nimbus. He's built basically like I built Altair, Cup, Gambler set, good attack speed, because that's how he scales. Each 1% attack speed increases duration by 2/100th of a second, up to 6 seconds. So you want a lot of attack speed on him. And then Hog, you're going for the ultimate damage. He gets himself attack up, and he does 680 damage, ignoring 40% defense, which is actually pretty significant against Talwer. And you couple that with defense penalty too, and that's basically 100% ignore defense. I do have him in the Inventor set, again, for just more ultimate damage. He has a quick battle skill, so that's nice. And then for timings, so we have Volthug, he's on 18-second interval. Iola also needs to be 18-second interval. I have Iola going at 12 seconds, and then as soon as that attack penalty 2 wears off, Volthug goes. His is only attack penalty 1, so he can't overwrite attack penalty 2. So you gotta make sure that attack penalty 2 is worn off before. So a 1/10 of a second after attack penalty 2 wears off, then Volthug puts his attack penalty 1 up, which helps. And then the DPS are just going after Iola, and then as close as they can, you know, as the fight goes on, they drift further apart because they're not as fast. But again, this is another really easy team to build. A lot of interchangeable parts too. It's not like you have to use these exact heroes. You You could have Irina instead of Iola. You could have, you know, Hexandra instead of Nathaniel. You could have any of the other tanks instead of Volthug. The recipe for Talwer is very simple, and you can insert a lot of different heroes to make it work. If I had Avelios and Theravol, I could run a third Dauntless team, no problem. And it would be just as easy. Well, it'd be easier because I'd have legendary DPS, but you get the point. I wanted to test a melee team for Talwer with Nashchenka and Shalter and like Shagroll. I think it definitely could work if you have Malik to cleanse that control. But I just didn't get around to it. I don't have the people leveled, and I'm out of bread. I do plan on hopefully doing it before these bosses go away, just to test it and see. But it was just so easy to build these ranged only teams. I mean, look at this. We're already over 12 million. Fight basically has barely gotten started, and we're already over halfway to where we need to be. The rare Dauntless DPS are just incredibly viable here. And Volthug is surprisingly a very good tank. I mean, he's got really low defense with this setup, but he just still tanks very well. His battle skill is very good. He has to have one of the better battle skills in the game for tanks. Yeah, you can see attack penalty 2 goes up here. It pretty much lasts for the duration of Talwer's ultimate. As soon as it wears off, Volthug then throws up attack penalty 1. Well, there he got resisted, but if he doesn't get resisted, he throws up attack penalty 1. Halfway through the time, already at 22 million. Not even breaking a sweat. Nathaniel just sits back here casting. That's the advantage of the resistance. He doesn't get taunted or anything. He's hitting Volthug with the battle skill, but he's not taking any damage. And he's throwing up defense up and shields periodically. And then the two guys back here are just slinging away damage. I mean, Iola's doing good damage too, right? She's carrying Witch's Remain, she's carrying Cyril's Whisper set, she's got enough accuracy, yet she's still pumping out 6 million damage. She's also giving the whole team attack up, Ara. Already over 30 million. Yeah, I mean, you could literally not even run a Lossenia team and just break out all these Dauntless rares into their own teams and just use all your lightning poison supports to make it work. Like, we are way over the damage that we need to be doing. Like, Nimbus and Iola would have hit 22 million on their own. And then we could have put Hog, you know, on another team. I could have taken, you know, one of the DPS out of the last team too if I wanted to. Full 5 minutes, 44 million. Very easy. Just to recap, again, both these teams very friendly. This one was Volthug, built just like Furbath on the previous team, 300 resistance, enough accuracy to land his debuffs, enough skill haste to go every 18 seconds, and then just as much defense as you can muster. We don't even have 3,000 defense on him. Nathaniel, enough resistance that he's not getting hit by stuff. Mona Lisa set to help heal. High enlightenment for shields. That's it. Iola's got Witch's Remains, Cyril's Whisper set, enough accuracy, and then just as the best offensive stats you can give her. So I got her to 85 crit rate, 153 damage, and 3,300 attack. Nimbus, he's in the cup, lots of attack speed, gambler set, good crit rate, good crit damage, good attack. Hog, he's not even level 100, he's level 90. Eyeball, looks like he's in the inventor set. Quick battle skill will help him have 2 to 3 stacks. Really hard hitting ultimate, ignores defense, gives himself attack up. 44 million, which right now is barely above my best team, so very good budget team there. Alright, we'll do Shay next. We have 2 teams here. Another very friendly team, no legendaries. We got Questa tanking. We got Thea healing. We got Adri with ultimate reduction, speed recharge penalty, and then Zadok and Ulia for damage. I have Questa up here. Probably don't really need to do that. Kind of helps with the positioning on the skeletons. Sometimes you'll have a bunch of skeletons lined up here, and then Shay will use his ultimate all down here and not even hit Questa. That's the only reason I did it. I don't really think it makes that big of a difference though. We're using Ulia's attack speed R, it's the only one I can use. Questa's built pretty tanky, but she just still has good offensive stats. So she's kind of like a mix right now. I have in her defense chest, defense crit rate gloves. She needs accuracy, so make sure you give her enough accuracy. The ultimate steal is very important. The attack penalty also helps. And then she heals herself based off her attack, 475% attack, so that's why you want good attack on her. I gave her the hourglass, so she can spam this as much as she can manage. Then we got Thea, she is my healer. So her battle skill heals the ally with the lowest current HP and all allies with invisibility. Her ultimate puts invisibility on all the ranged heroes, which is all these guys back here. So she heals decently. Scales off attack, enlightenment. So she's got okay attack, okay enlightenment. Mona Lisa set, so every time she casts her ultimate, she heals a little bit. Adri, we have the incense burner just to help speed up her ultimate spam. Enough accuracy. We're just trying to get the ultimate reduction and the recharge speed penalty. Mona Lisa set as well to help with healing because we don't actually have a real healer here. And then decent offensive stats after that. Zadok is the main damage dealer. We have the eyeball. You want to make this hit as hard as possible. Inventor set, again, because you want this to hit as hard as possible. Good crit rate, really good crit damage, pretty good attack. And then Ulia, you want attack speed, because every 5th basic attack summons a skeleton. The more skeletons that get summoned, the more skeletons that die. Every time a skeleton dies, Zadok gains 4% attack permanently up to 30 stacks. So you want to have a lot of skeletons be summoned and a lot of skeletons dying. So I have her in the cup, gambler set, really good attack speed. Her battle skill does hit hard. 990 damage on a battle skill. So I mean you could build her for like the Mana Core statue. I think either would work probably pretty well. I haven't parsed the test to see exactly which one is necessarily better. I would assume though feeding Zhorak his stacks would probably be a little bit better, but it definitely would be a route to go and let her just go crazy. I assume this can hit the same target 3 times. I guess that's a thing to test too. It might just be up to 3 targets, not up to 3 times. So that would be something worth testing. But yeah, she's got a good kit. And she does good damage. You know, we'll see here throughout the fight. She parses pretty well. But yeah, this team is basically full auto. No one even has Witch's Remains. I had Zhar'loth in this team originally, and he was doing Witch's Remains, but then we moved into the other team. And I just didn't really need it, so I don't have anyone with it. Obviously, if you could, like Adri probably would be good to have it, I guess. That'd probably net more total damage if Adri had Witch's Remains, and then you just time these guys. It would hurt your survivability a little bit, but you'd probably increase your damage significantly enough to make up for it. It's kind of weird that Thea moved forward. I've never seen that before. I'm guessing she ran forward to heal a skeleton. Interesting. So I'm guessing like the skeleton like back here was low health and no one else was low health. So she had to step forward to cast her battle skill on it. Now she's out of position. Yeah, this would not be a very good run if it were close, because now she's gonna get hit by the ultimate each time, by Shay's ultimate. But this team has enough DPS. We aren't gonna fail, but that would be something to look out for. You could probably fix it maybe by moving her over on this side, or like the same side as like Ulia. Might be less tiles. I'm not sure how it calculates the tiles. So you can see Zhorak, he's up to max stacks now, so he's gonna keep pulling away. Ulia though, very solid damage, and even Questa, even tanking, is doing good damage. Phaessa is amazing for these fights. She was amazing in Season 1, and she's just as amazing in Season 2. Very tanky, can heal herself. The ultimate energy steal, so it's not just reduction, she actually steals it and gives it to herself. Plus she's doing attack penalty on her battle skill. It's just all such a really good kit. So yeah, so this one kind of got a little scuffed with the positioning, but we still easily hit the threshold. This team is definitely capable of doing into the 30 millions damage with a good run. I could also give Adri Witch's Remains, that would help the damage even more. Yeah, another very easy kind of budgety team. I would imagine just about everyone has these heroes, you know, by now in Season 2. So again, to recap, we got Questa, Hourglass, spamming this ultimate, enough accuracy, the protection set, so she's a little tankier and helping other people survive. Really good base defense, so it's not too hard to give her, you know, like 3,000 defense or high 2,000s. I gave mine crit rate gloves. Now, if your Questa is struggling to survive, give her defense gloves. Mine is just able to survive long enough, so I went with more damage. You want some attack, try to get at least 3,000, because that's how she heals herself. So, like here we got attack percent, attack on the substats, attack percent, attack percent. So I was looking for, you know, attack percent substats. That's how she got to her attack point. But you can definitely make her tankier if yours is struggling to survive. Just try to keep attack at least 3,000. Thea is my healer. Again with the battle skill. Mona Lisa set. Adri, she should be the crown or Witch's Remains. It would make the team better. So keep that in mind. Recharge speed penalty, triple hit, ultimate and reduction. She's fantastic for these fights. I have mine and Mona Lisa to help heal, but she does have offensive stats otherwise, so you can kind of go either or with her. If you don't need the healing, build her for full damage. The Doc, he's my big nuker on this team. Eyeball, Inventor set, good offensive stats, and then Ulia, you want attack speed to spam her passive. So mine's the Cup, Gambler set. And then she does do good damage to the battle skill, so give her good offensive stats as well. Now we'll look at my second team here. So this team is also really friendly. I do have a legendary, but that's just because I had him built. You could replace Dalk with pretty much any useful Necro hero, and this team would be fine. So Isolde, she's tanking. Urza, good to pair together because of Isolde's skills are for like melee only. So she's gonna help Kurza. Zhar'loth, fantastic for these fights. Amazing healer. He does speed recharge penalty on the battle skill. Dalk, he's just there for damage, and then he does do attack penalty on the battle skill, and he does ultimate reduction on the ultimate as well. So I mean, he is useful, but I feel like I could replace him with just about anyone, and this team would still work. I think Gladros is just there for extra shields. I was running out of supports. He was basically all I had left, so that's what I went with. This team has no skill timings at all. Gladros, not booked. The rest are. You hope to get Zhorak and Gladros in your next summoning session. Yeah, they're definitely two very good epics. So for Isolde, you want enough accuracy to land your attack penalty. I have mine in the protection set to mitigate damage. I went with the defense artifact because she's really the one taking the most damage. So I want good defense. I don't think her shields are that great. So I know some would give her a lot of HP, but I just don't think it's really going to scale that much. I think the defense is going to help the team better. Kurza, gave her the music box. She has shields quite a bit between Isolde and Gladros. Gambler set. And then enough accuracy, kind of. She's a little low in accuracy, but it's kind of enough with the bonuses right now because I'm getting an extra 40 from the alliance buffs. But she could definitely have a little more accuracy. And you know, pretty decent stats. Attack's a little low. Crit rate and crit damage are solid though. Dalk. So again, he's here mostly just for damage. Again, he's a little on the low side for accuracy, but he does give himself accuracy bonus, so that kind of handles that. He's got attack penalty on the battle skill. He's 820 damage on the alt, so it does hit pretty hard. And he does do alt reduction by 30%. So we have Inventor's set, Eyeball. Zhar'loth, he's carrying the Witch's Remain. He is so good for Witch's Remains, especially if you put him in Zero's Whisper set. That means now his ultimate and battle skill are both doing debuffs. So it's like 100% uptime with Zero's Whisper. Enough accuracy. And then just as much attack as you can give him so he heals for more. Attack speed is also good. So I like to put runes with attack speed on him. So he's got 36% attack speed between my two runes here. And that helps him every fourth basic attack heals. So don't ignore attack speed on Zhar'loth. And then Gladros, you basically just want really good attack. I assume this requires accuracy. I have actually not looked, and I don't really know. There's no like debuff that pops up on this. So to be honest, I don't know if this requires accuracy or not. I'm just assuming it does. And then he's doing, you know, the shield based off his attack and his max HP. Mona Lisa set some HP. And yeah, this team just kind of does its thing. We could probably time Zhar'loth and Dalk better, so that at least Dalk always ults with defense penalty. So we'll stagger them a little bit. Kurza gains ultimate energy, so she's a little harder to time unless you're just going to ignore that part, but I don't think you should. I think you should let Kurza ult when she wants to ult. Have better uptime on the attack penalty and the speed recharge penalty. Again, you could probably replace Dalk with just about any Necro hero here. Just bring someone who's going to do damage or some sort of utility or something. And I think you'll be fine. I only used Dalk because I already had him fully built. He was level 100, fully scrolled. Between Zhar'loth, Kurza, and then Dalk, obviously the boss is going really slow. He only has 4 stacks. 2 minutes into the fight, we're already at 13 million. And it's kind of the specialty with Necrosis teams, is there's so many heroes that can slow the bosses down. That's why it's like generally pretty easy to make free-to-play friendly teams on these guys. Between like Adri, Questa, Zhar'loth. Now we have Kurza, right? And there's quite a couple legendaries that can do it too. So 3 minutes in, survival's still really good. We're almost at the damage threshold already. It's a pretty good team. See the healing, Zhar'loth doing a lot of work, Gladros with shields. Isolde is basically nothing. That's why I kind of don't really care about Isolde's shielding capabilities. I'd rather her just not take damage. Make it easier to heal. 22 million with 90 seconds to spare. So Isolde died with 50 seconds left. We're well over 22 million. Pretty basic team, nothing too fancy. Dahl, Kurza, both doing good damage. Zhar'loth putting up okay numbers even as the healer. And once again, we'll just go over real quick. So Isolde, she's tanking. I have her focusing on defense, protection set. You want to make sure she has enough accuracy to land her attack penalty. We got Zhar'loth, really good for Witch's Remains. And then you put him in the Cyril's Whisper set, you basically get 100% uptime, make sure he has enough accuracy, stack attack, good attack speed. I like to do it through the runes. Both runes have 18%. Kurza, gave her the music box, makes stats a little easier. Her defense is pretty low, but it was good enough between all the shielding. Gambler set, okay offensive stats. You want to make sure she has accuracy to land the recharge speed penalty and the attack penalty on the ultimate. And then she's gaining ultimate energy herself, so skill haste is not important on her. Dalk, just generic damage dealer. I did give him accuracy so he could land attack penalty and alt reduction. But yeah, you could replace him with just about anyone. And then Gladros, just support, really high attack. I mean, actually doesn't really have that high of attack, but he is only level 90. Mona Lisa set, I gave him the Rava tricks just to boost his HP and attack, which are the two stats I care about here. He's just throwing up shields. And yeah, 27.8 million. Thoughts on Elminster? I think he's alright. I think the artifact is better than the hero. I think a lot of people are going to have to make a tough decision whether they want to buy the artifacts or get the hero. Because it's going to be, realistically, unless things are way different than the Drizzt event, you're probably going to have to spend like 50 plus dice if you want both the artifact and one copy of Elminster. And that's a lot of dice for a hero that is kind of mediocre. So I think I think some people are gonna have some tough decisions ahead of them, but he's not worthless. He definitely is viable, but he's just not great, it seems. Alright, on to Irzillas. We have 5 Irzilla teams. So the first team is entirely Flora. If you have Flora, you can build a team where literally anyone else can be inserted. Have a tank, any healer, any wildfire people, you can do 22 million. For skill timing, we just have, you want Flora to go first. She puts up her 10-second vortex, and then you have your other wildfire people go. They hit it, and then that's where the magic happens. As the vortex lasts, the target takes an additional 170% derivative damage from wild. And I just have Quazisha and Megan just going whatever. Literally a level 1 naked Netta and a level 50 Folly with Witch's Remains. That is what I have. And then Flora. My Flora's in the Queen's Fan, Adventure set, 345 Enlightenment, 6,000 attack. And then we got Quazisha. I have her in Hourglass to spam her ultimate. Make sure she has enough accuracy. Protection set to tank. Defense, stack to defense. And then Megan, Mona Lisa set, Gatekeeper staff, level 50. You're just caring about the battle skill, 10% heal plus alt energy. And then the ultimate's doing defense up, recovery over time. That's, you don't need stats on Megan. We're using the attack aura. Derivative damage cannot crit, so you want attack. And this team is literally just Flora doing Flora things. So if you have Flora, you can build a team just by her. Literally any other 2 wildfire people. We're getting 150,000 damage per tick. There's not a whole lot here, and just Flora is crazy. Crazy good. Halfway done. Already at 16 million. Or is just carrying the whole team. Usha's really solid tank. Megan's just doing bare minimum Megan things. Very easy team. Full auto. The hardest part is just getting Flora. That's all you gotta do, just pull Flora, and you have a team. And this could be any tank. It doesn't need to be Quizisha. Horus would work. It'd be a little tougher with Horus because you don't have the slow recharge penalty, but Horus is a very, very, very good tank. I think any healer could work here. Megan is probably about the worst there is, so I think any other healer would work. Ymira could tank. I mean, you'll see I have 5 teams, 4 of which are fire, so you'll see that I use all of those tanks. 22 million, over a minute to spare, with a level 1 and a level 50. And that's that. Very simple, very basic. Just need Flora. And you can throw literally whatever at the rest of the team. So if you're lucky enough to have Flora, you can definitely make a couple teams out of it with her and your other wildfire heroes. She'll cover team all on her own. So again, just Flora. Build her for lots of enlightenment damage. I went with the Queen's Fan. If you don't want the Queen's Fan, you could do the Eyeball. I use the Inventor set. My derivative damage set is really bad. Like I just have not gotten good pieces for it. So it's been hard for me to test which of the 2 sets is better for Flora. But with the set I can put together, the Inventor set does better for her. But if you have a good derivative damage set, it might be better than Inventor set, so keep that in mind. And again, Netta just naked, she's just there to land some wildfire damage. Folly, she's just there for Witch's Remains. Accuracy. Megan, Gatekeeper Staff for skill haste and overheal shields. Mona Lisa set, gave her as much HP as I could, but she's level 50, so it's not much. And then Quizisha, Hourglass, Spammer Ultimate, Protection set, mitigate damage, enough accuracy, good defense. So now we'll look at our second wildfire team. So we got Garrica. She's kind of, I would say she's kind of the pillar of this team. She is the tank without being a tank. So So we have her in the protection set. She's up to 4,200 defense. She's got enough accuracy. I put her in Witch's Remains, which if she procs it, she reduces the ultimate energy twice off her passive. I don't care about her damage or anything, so just survival and spamming Witch's Remains and ultimate reduction. We got Adolphus, so we busted out, you know, the best fire support. He's in a Mona Lisa set, so he's going to heal every time he ults. 450 enlightenment, really big shields. 55 skill haste, good skill haste. So he's got really good gear. Now Utior is just here because I have nothing better. All he is doing is he's casting defense up on this ultimate. So Garrica gets 10 seconds of defense up too. That's why he's here. I did not give him accuracy because he's level 1. So he's not doing this. His passive does nothing. And then he's in the Mona Lisa set, so he does a little tiny heal when he casts his ult. So yeah, Utior could be replaced with anyone that you have that is more useful. Could be another damage dealer, could be another tank, could be another healer. But you know, making 15 teams, you got to stretch the roster, so that's why we have him in here. Felicity, she's the carry here. You want 100% crit rate on her for her passive. Every time she crits, she gains ultimate energy, so you like literally want 100% crit on her. And then as much attack and crit damage as you can make. Her gear is really good. She's in the eyeball. She's in Inventor's set. Inventor's set is the best for her, in my opinion. I could see the argument, I guess, for Gambler you get more hits, which is more alt. I don't know. I guess they could be kind of 50-50. But the damage bonus is really nice when you're getting 24% damage bonus. Sometimes even 30%. And then Bronwyn is actually not bad. So we're with Adolphus, right? So he's got the music box. He's only level 90. 95 crit rate, 200 damage, just shy of 4,000 attack. He actually does solid damage. You're getting 750 on the ultimate. You're getting 360 on the battle skill. Gives himself attack up. And then each successful wild check by allies grants damage bonus to the hero's next basic attack by 250 damage. So he actually, you're going to see here, is not that far off from Felicity, which is pretty impressive. And then we're just running the crit damage Zara. Team's full auto. Is Bronwyn better than Netta? I'd have to look. I'd have to compare them. I didn't actually build my Netta, so I'm not entirely sure what she's capable of. But Bronwyn definitely hits pretty darn hard. So we'll look at Netta's skill set after this fight. You haven't used Bronwyn yet, but you have used Netta. I would wager they're probably both similar. So we're already over halfway there. Minute 20 into the fight, so lots of damage. So yeah, if I had Utior actually leveled, like let's say we stuck with Utior, right? And let's say he was like even just level 50 or something. I could put him in a Cyril's Whisper set. His battle skill, you know, is then going to constantly proc that, so that would be even more damage. With level 1 though, it's a little hard to get the accuracy there without without any runes and without any artifacts, but resources are limited, so you gotta use what you gotta use. So yeah, we're not even halfway through the fight. We're already at 22 million. I mean, obviously you can see how good Felicity is, but you know, Bronwyn is putting up solid numbers. I do admit that Utior has a pretty cool looking ultimate animation. Nothing else. He at least looks cool while he sucks. This would actually be like a really good fight to bring in Elminster. You would get the shields from Elminster, you'd get attack penalty, which this team doesn't have. You could put him close enough that he can actually hit Garrica with the battle skill. So Elminster would be a solid upgrade to Utior if you are playing in a later season or a server that's later, and you have Elminster by now. Team's pushing 40 million, still alive. Garrica's probably gonna die here though, unless Adolphus has a battle skill. No. The Utior res. The Utior res! It actually did something. It's the first time in my life I've seen him do that. Where it timed correctly. It's actually kind of funny. How about that? The level 1 Utior. Yeah, they're gonna live the whole 5 minutes. 44, 45 million damage. Felicity did 22 on her own. Bronwyn did half of that on his own. And that's without Cyril's Whisper as well. They got 26 by Felicity, 13.5 by Bronwyn. A level 90 Bronwyn at that. He's not even 100. He's level 90. Garrica tanking the whole time. We'll review it one more time. So we got Garrica, she's tanking, 4200 defense, protection set, Witch's Remains. That lets you get more ultimate reduction when she lands it. Ultimate reduction on the alt. Give her enough accuracy. You have Adolphus. I have him in good skill haste, a ton of enlightenment. Mona Lisa set, so he's healing off that. The Tiara for bigger shields. A level 1 Utior just there for defense up to, and apparently resurrection when the cards strike. Felicity, you won 100% crit rate on her for her passive. She gains ultimate energy on crits, and then just as much attack and crit damage you can give her. Mine is really well geared. Inventor set eyeball hits really hard. And like we were talking about, Bronwyn, I mean, he is legit. You got 750 on the ult, you got 360 on the battle skill plus attack up. And then allies doing wild checks. His next basic attack does 250 damage, which is actually pretty solid. His stats weren't anything amazing. I mean, he is level 90, so if he was level 100, they actually would be pretty solid. He'd gain a lot more attack. Crit rate, crit damage are good. So yeah, Bronwyn's legit. Let's compare to Netta. So Netta is a little bit better on the ultimate, plus it's faster time, 16 seconds. Bronwyn, he's just a static 20. So Netta's going to do more on the ultimate. It is a wild skill. So is Bronwyn's. Her battle skill is also wild, 350, but she does not give herself attack up. Pretty similar, but he's getting the attack up. Yeah, I would think Netta is actually better. I would say Netta is probably better than Bronwyn, but the fact that the level 90 Bronwyn could do as well as he did, he is legitimate too. You can use him. He's gonna do good damage. I do think Netta is a bit better though. You're also getting an aura out of her for dungeon battles, which is nice. But I think Netta is better than Bronwyn. What about Alfie? Alfie's good if you're pairing him. So like someone like Bronwyn, right? Um, each successful wild check by an ally grants damage bonus. So you want to pair people like that with someone like Alfie. But not every hero, like Felicity, for example, she doesn't care about allies doing wild checks. She just does her own thing. You can deploy her by herself, it makes no difference whatsoever. So like if you were to use Felicity and Alfie together, there's no synergy there. So Alfie you want to use with other wild heroes that need other allies doing checks. That's what Alfie's good at. Hey there, Showdown, or Shadow Nova Dragon. When is Elminster coming out? What was it? February 24th? Check here. 23rd. So, less than a week. Or 8 days. 8 days, 3 hours. But yeah, so Alfie I think is just very niche. I don't have him. He's one of the few epics I haven't gotten. This is nice, but again, he needs. I mean, I guess this is allies doing it, so I guess that can work. His battle skill is solid. You're getting 300 damage ignoring defense. But his ultimate doesn't do anything. It just creates a nexus, increasing the success rate of wild checks made by allies within the nexus by 50%. So you only really use him if he's on a team with wildfire heroes that need wild checks, because not all of them do. So like Casper, like let's say you're running a team with Casper, right? So Casper gains 1 stack of Absurd Charade upon an allied successful wild check for 20 seconds. Up to 13 stacks. So like he needs lots of wild checks by his allies the whole fight. That is where Alfie's really good. 1 wind? What do you mean by 1 wind? Oh, wild. Yeah, I think you're better off putting him in like a full wildfire team just because he's like a buffer. And so the more wildfire you put in there, he's still doing the same thing, but it's buffing more because you now have 2 wildfire allies instead of just 1. So I think if you're just gonna deploy 2 wildfire heroes, you want someone that can actually do damage themselves without help. So someone like Netta, someone like Felicity, or do like Eric and Tonalyn paired together. That's what we're gonna see here. That's gonna be my next team, is Eric and Tonalyn. So I guess my next team's my burn team, but we'll do the other wildfire team while we're here. So the next wildfire team, we got Horus, really tanky. Eric and Tonalyn, plenty of damage between the two of them. Lyco, just there for battle skill heal, and then Journ is kind of the utility guy. Everyone gets Eric for free. I don't think you necessarily need Journ for this team to work. You could bring in another wildfire hero. Probably could bring in an actual healer instead of Lyco. But this is just kind of what I had. So Horus, really good defense. I actually gave him accuracy so he could do some attack penalty. So between him and Journ, you know, that's should be pretty good uptime on attack penalty. Protection set. This game doesn't seem free-to-play friendly. I think it's actually very free-to-play friendly. Much more than most games. So here's my Journ. He is not booked. We have the hourglass to make up for it. Enough accuracy, so he's landing an attack penalty. Reducing the alt damage. He's gonna be buffing. I don't want to put him here. So if I put him here, Tonalyn runs to here, right? So now Journ, it can give Tonalyn the defense up, which is what I want. If I move Journ here, now Journ is going to be getting hit by Irzillas' battle skill, which I don't want. So that's why I have Journ here. And he's in the Cyril's Whisper set, so he's going to be proccing lots of attack up. We got Eric, he's with Witch's Remains, Inventor set, enough accuracy to land it, 100% crit rate, 195 damage, about 4,000 attack. And we got Tonalyn, she's in the Eyeball, Gambler sets. Remember, she gets a passive 20% crit rate. So mine is at 68% crit rate, which is a little low. You want it to be 80, but pretty solid. And then over 200 damage and decent attack. And we just have Lyco in the back here. I gave her a battle candle for battle skill recharge time. She's not booked. Her battle skill heals lowest ally, 20% max HP, grants defense up 5 seconds. This just does damage, buff prohibition, not huge. I mean, I guess the boss does do attack up, so if she were actually fully built, you would want her to have accuracy to do that part. This doesn't really do anything. We do have some timing just for Eric and Tonalyn, because Eric has Witch's Remains. They're cycling every 20 seconds, because they don't have any skill haste. You do want 2 seconds differential between Eric and other people if you give Eric your defense penalty item, because the full cast time for his ultimate is 2 seconds. So you don't want to go too quickly, because you might go before defense penalty actually lands, and then you kind of waste it. And the only R we have is HP. Hey there, Ghost. I'm doing pretty well. We're doing a showcase of all of my Otherworld teams, all 15 of them. We got, I think, 2 left. This one, or 3 left. This one and 2 more. Now, if you wanted to be more efficient with Eric, you would manual his ult and just target Irzillas. If you do it on auto, he's gonna try to hit all the skeletons, and that kind of wastes your defense penalty a bit. So if you're struggling to hit 22 million, just do Eric manual, and just make sure you're only hitting Irzillas, and then all 5 meteors will hit Irzillas. Need to watch the VOD? Yeah, so I'm gonna make a highlight video of this, and then I do plan on putting this on YouTube as well. So there will be multiple ways to watch it. Yeah, so you can see Journ, you know, he's buffing Tonalyn with the defense up. Helps her survive a little bit here and there when it's up for the ultimate. Lyco's mostly healing Tonalyn. Horus is just kind of doing his own thing. He's very tanky. Not the most efficient team. Oh, we saw there, Tonalyn just died really early. But the team usually doesn't have much of an issue getting to 22 million. Even with Tonalyn dead early, Eric can still get us there. Both Eric and Tonalyn do a lot of damage, so. See if Horus can live long enough. Attack penalty there. 20 million now. So yeah, this team could definitely like be a lot better. Obviously, Lyco could actually be leveled. Journ and Lyco are not booked. I could probably shore up timings to make sure that attack penalty is up better. I guess it's a little hard to control. It's coming off 2 battle skills, but you can kind of mess with skill haste to make it work. But yeah, we still hit 22 million with Eric back here. Horus is very tanky. He can survive a long time. Even with crappy Lyco healing him. So 26 million, which seems to be kind of our minimum for these teams. And that's with a very early Tonalyn death. She usually lives like another minute or so, How long do I think I have to wait before we field an entire D&D team? Probably a while. But yeah, let's do the recap. So yeah, so Horus, very tanky. Scarab, protection set. I gave him enough accuracy, help with the attack penalty. Journ, not booked. Gave him the hourglass, try to make up for it. He has accuracy. Zero's whisper set. got a debuff on his battle skill, so he's gonna be spamming that. Then you got Eric. I have mine in Witch's Remains. Enough accuracy to land it. Still good offensive stats though, so he's still doing good damage. And Tonalin just built full damage. Mine and Gambler set with Eyeball. And then Lyco, level 50, just gave her the candle. So all I want from her is the 20% max heal and defense up. You're so far behind, Ghost. Old news article, but says we're getting 3 D&D collab characters. Yeah, they haven't. I have no idea what else they're gonna be doing. That has not been public information. So, I would assume it's gonna be the more popular ones. So probably like Wolfgar or like Canterbury, Bruner. I'd have to think one of those. Alright, so now I have my burn team. We have Acetius, he's the damage carry. I think you could use Erisys and it would still work. Ghoul is doing a lot of work here with support because Estella is not the best healer. Ymir is actually a legit tank though. Beegs is just there to throw up some burns. So we have Ymira, she's built basically just like Horus was. Protection set, Scarab, enough accuracy to land her attack penalty. Her passive is insanely good. Mitigates a ton of damage. Her battle skill is also really good. Defense up 1 for 5 seconds every 7.9 seconds. And then we got Acetius, just built full damage. Inventor sets, eyeball, lots of attack, lots of crit, hits really hard. Beegs, he's got Witch's Remains, his ultimate is 5 hit. It kind of bounces around though between him and between Irzillas and the skeletons. We'll make sure he has accuracy, he's landing burns. I have him in the Cyril's Whisper set, so we get a lot of procs on attack up. Estella, not scrolled. Put her in the diamond for enlightenment and extra healing. Mona Lisa set for more healing. I made sure, so her passive marks the ally with the lowest HP, increasing their received healing and shield. So I made sure that my Acetius has the lowest HP on this team. It helps to keep him up a little bit longer. And then Ghoul, I mean, he just has a crazy kit. Attack penalty, he's stealing ultimate energy, he's cleansing, but doesn't really do anything here. He does healing, he does some damage. So I have mine, Hourglass, Mona Lisa set. He's the wrong element, he's not going to do much damage here, but we're using him for the attack penalty and ultimate steal. Then we use the attack aura for skill timing. The only thing I care about is Beegs going before Acetius. So he's 11.6, 19.3 Acetius. He gains ultimate energy when he punches things that are burned. So even though it says 20, he can go fast enough. And yeah, you'll see Acetius just hits really hard. Ymir is a really solid tank, and Beegs does a lot of burns. So see that like purple glowy aura around Acetius? That's the target Estella is hitting. So you can always verify like the right person has the lowest HP. They'll have that kind of purpley, bluish, glowing aura around them. But yeah, I mean, Acetius can literally do over 1 million damage with his ultimate here. Yeah, that was 1.1 million. He hits insanely hard. especially when you bring some burns. Now, if you have Karf or Durham, that's even better. If you have Irzillas instead of Acetius, that also would work. Irzillas is a good replacement for Acetius. He's not going to hit quite as hard, but he's going to hit hard still. But I think if you have Karf, Durham, and Irzillas, you can run 2 different burn teams. I don't have Karf or Durham though. So yeah, a minute and a half in, we're already halfway there. Acetius is basically doing 1,000,000+ damage every ultimate. Ymira tanking perfectly fine. Gonna be a big hit. Yeah, it was 1.3 million. So we don't have Ymir times. I kind of just have them and Ghoul going whenever. So Sessions is probably going to die here because attack penalty is going to fall off. Alright, Ghoul got it just in time. But yeah, so if you're having issues like with your melee surviving, just time your attack penalty correctly. As long as you have attack penalty up for this ultimate hit, your melee can survive pretty decently long. But since I have 2 guys doing it, I just let them kind of cast whenever. It usually is always up for the point that it matters. And Estella, I mean, she's not a bad healer. She really isn't. After they kind of did the buffs, you know, it's if you can put her as a supplemental healer or give her some assistance, heals pretty well. You'll see here, I mean, she's gonna pump both these guys with heals. Another 1.3 million. That was almost 1.5 million. Just on the boss too. He also hit the skeletons for a lot too. I mean, this actually is just pretty crazy. Finally succumbed to damage. The 4-minute mark. We are well over our requirement though. You can see how much healing she's pumping into Ymir there. Ymir was almost dead, and Stella got her to full health pretty quickly. And my Stella's not even booked, so I think Estella is actually a pretty decent healer if you can control damage. Like if you're taking AoE damage, Estella's not going to be great. But if Estella only needs to heal 1 or 2 people, she's good enough. So yeah, easy 37 million. Obviously, Acetius crushed it. Heresies would be plenty of damage though if you don't have Acetius. And would actually probably have just the same or better survival since he does a shield on himself. So again, we got Ymira built just like Horus was. Protection set, Scarab, enough accuracy, okay defense. Estella, I have her with the Enlightenment healing artifacts. Mona Lisa set, not booked. For her passive, I made sure Acetius had the lowest HP out of the whole team so that she would boost healing on him, keep him up a little bit longer. Ghoul, he's just there to spam his ultimate. So Hourglass, Mona Lisa set, extra healing. Biggs, he's just doing burns, defense penalty. So Cyril's Whisper set, which is remains, accuracy. Didn't care about his damage. And then Acetius just built full damage. Near 99 crit rate, 200 over 200 damage, ton of attack, hits super hard. Is our main character any good? It falls off a lot in season 2, I think, just because we start getting access to lots of legendaries and epics by then. I do have mine used. I'm using him on this team to be a shielder. So I would not say they're useless, but definitely greatly diminished in season 2. Who would I scroll next, Durham or Ghoul? I love Ghoul. I would absolutely scroll Ghoul. You can use him literally everywhere. He has one of the best skill sets in the game. Everything, every one of his skills is incredible. The passive is crazy good. The battle skill is crazy good. The ultimate's crazy good. And I feel like because he's got a slow cast time on his ultimate, you kind of have to book him if you even want to realistically use him. So yeah, I think Durham can do his job just fine without being booked. Ghoul struggles a bit because he's really slow. But if you book him, yeah, Ghoul is disgustingly good. I've literally used him everywhere for the whole season. Alright, my final team is a poison team on Irzillas. Because they can't survive against Lossenia. And I already had these guys basically built. So we're deploying them here. It is not the easiest 22 million. But it kind of gets the job done. As you can see, I mean, Lothair is the only level 100. It's kind of wonky with how Quarion works. I think the point with this team is if you are someone who has Lothair, and you have Quarion, and you have the Hourglass, you probably can find a place to put these guys and get 22 million. I know some people do it on Alton. If all these guys were level 100, I'd probably be doing Alton. But I think it's too much damage. Like these guys are too squishy right now, and because I can control the damage on Irzillas and I can't control the damage on Alton, Irzillas just kind of works a little bit better. No Durango? No, I do not have Durango, unfortunately. But, so here we are. We have Gareth. Right now he's in the Incense Burner. Do we have skill timings? Yes, so we have Gareth timed. I feel like there was adjustment here. I don't exactly remember. I think he might have still been a little too fast. So we probably don't need the Incense Burner anymore. So we'll toss him. Let me lose accuracy. see, what else could we give him? Alright, let's just try to give him accuracy to make up for it. So he's at 141 plus 90 puts him at 231. We don't have an aura and we need 280, so he needs 50 more accuracy. What's the yellow jewel artifact? That is the Season 2 Pillar of Trial artifact. Everlasting Diamond, it's really good. Definitely make sure you pick this up in Season 2. Increase healing by 25%, 125 resistance, and enlightenment. Very good.
Through it all, I just want my comrades to get what they want.
Alright, so let's toss him an accuracy rune. And then can toss him the defense hat. That'll work. Okay. Update that. So yeah, so we have Gareth, enough accuracy, protection set, as much defense as I can give him. He has pretty low defense, but his passive is interesting. When he takes damage that exceeds 20% of his max HP, in a single hit he gains healing equal to half the damage. So as long as he doesn't get one shot by a big hit, he's basically cutting a big hit in half, which is pretty good. That can definitely help. Lothair, I feel like I don't build my Lothair very well. I'm still kind of figuring out the proper way to build him. I have the Harpies now, which is amplifying his passive skill. That's where he's doing all his crazy damage. I wish the Enlightenment was higher. I have him in the Inventor set, but I feel like he'd be better in the derivative damage set. My derivative damage set is so bad. I do feel like some crit rate and crit damage is good because, I mean, he just does hit hard. His ultimate is a triple hit, 750 attack, and 3600 enlightenment. That is a really good ultimate for damage. So yeah, I feel like you need to find this weird balance between attack, enlightenment, crit rate, and crit damage, and it's tough. We're running the enlightenment aura, so he's getting an extra 60. Sandra, Mona Lisa set. Her HP is pretty low, so the Mona Lisa set's not going to heal for very much. Everlasting Diamond. She's got good enlightenment, so that's scaling the battle skill, which is good. Doesn't do anything for the ultimate though. Then we got Quarion. So if you're running Lothair and Quarion, you need Quarion at like 180 skill haste. So mine's at 183 with the hourglass, and this lets you keep 40 poison stacks basically the entire time. It's a little wonky on this boss because the targeting's weird when the skeletons come out. So sometimes it'll disappear and fall off because Quarion will land this on the wrong enemy. But it mostly works. And then I just have Letalis in here. Zero's Whisper because he's just doing non-stop debuffs. Witch's Remains. He only has a single hit, so he's not great for Witch's Remains. His accuracy is also pretty low. Let's try to get that higher. Yeah, we can definitely give him an accuracy rune. There we go, that fixes that. And then for skill timing, we have Letalis going first, then Lothair, and then we have Gareth that we're trying to time for right before the boss's ultimate. Yeah, this team is a little shaky. But it does work. Lothar also has a bad habit of battle skilling in front of Irzillas, so that is definitely the disadvantage of using this theme against Irzillas instead of Alton. I think if all these guys were level 100, or if I was actually using better supports, I would absolutely be running this team on Alton. But this team was doing worse on Alton than they are against this boss, so that's why we're here. So yeah, I need to move Lothar. He went in front of the boss, so he's gonna get hit by a battle skill right now, so we gotta put him back over here. You can see we're up to 40 stacks right now. They usually stick up, but yeah, like Quarion just did the wrong target and they all fell off. So now we gotta stack them up again. You can do Quarion manual, but the timing threshold is so tight that if you are smidge too slow casting it manual, then the stacks fall off. So if there's out of position again, put him back over there. So it looks like my 21.5 is a little too slow on Gareth, so we might have to adjust that. Put Lothar back on the side again. Try to get Gareth back fast enough. We do get ultimate reduction with Letalis. Lothar's out of position. Yeah, this might be a redo here. There's a lot of things kind of going wrong. Yeah. So we're gonna bump Gareth back down to 21 seconds. And I'll try doing Quarion manual. It's a little tricky. Like I said, if you waste like any time at all, you don't do it fast enough. This team works way easier if you do it on Alton, but you just need everyone to be able to take the hits from Alton's ult and battle skills. Yeah, so like, see how they fell off? It's just too tough on manual. I feel like I just need to run it on auto and just hope Quarion does it on the right target. So like 1/10 of a second of delay of grabbing it manual. Doesn't work. It is kind of frustrating though that Quarion's ultimate doesn't automatically just target whatever target has the most poison stacks. That would definitely be a simple solution. It seems like the ultimate just targets whoever's the closest. Yeah, you can see it. I mean, Lothar's doing 1,000,000 damage from his passive every time he does his ultimate. Get those 40 stacks up. Yeah, so then he randomly picked this left target. Like, that is so weird. It makes no logical sense. Alright, so 21 seconds is also too slow. We'll try 20.5 on Gareth. Literally feels like Quarion just picks a random target every time. This is definitely a frustrating aspect here. Alright, so it looks like 20.5 seconds. Actually, that still seems a little slow too. And Lethander battle skilled in front of Irzillas. Quarion picked the wrong target again. Quarion's killing me, man. Resist. Try again. Maybe do 1 time speed. And maybe we can get the timing. See if we can keep the 40 stacks. Big 1.5 mil. That's crazy that 40 poison stacks is only 87,000 damage. Alright, so 1 time speed seems to work. Hate when it does that. Alright, so what we got here. Yeah, we're hitting 22 million. This next alt here. The wrong affinity. At the halfway mark. So if this was like the poison boss, this would be like a 80 million damage team. Dust stacks, whatever. We're already there, so I'll put it on 2 times for the rest of the fight. So yeah, so this team would be 80 million damage if this was like a poison boss. Which is crazy. You could do like a 5-minute run on a poison boss with this team. 80 million damage. Alright, and that's that. That is our 15th team. Lothair and Khorne. It's basically all you need. Hourglass, Lothair, and Khorne, and you can build a team. So once again, we just use Gareth, basic build, accuracy to land attack penalty, high defense so he doesn't die, protection set to reduce damage. Sandra, just healing, Mona Lisa set, help heal every time she casts an alt. The Everlasting Diamond, more healing, enlightenment. Talus, not the best here, but he does have Witch's Remains. Accuracy, Cyril's Whisper set. He's landing lots of debuffs, so he's proccing this basically the whole time. He does do ultimate reduction on his battle skill, so that is useful. Then we got Quarion. You need like 180 skill haste, so you gotta do the Hourglass. You gotta book them. You need skill haste on the runes, and then you need double skill haste sets. That is the kind of the key to this team. And then Lothair, I have mine with the Harpy's Nail to boost his passive damage. As much enlightenment as I can manage. Decent attack. Inventor's set. I think the derivative damage set would be better. And then I gave him some crit and crit damage. And yeah, there's all the teams. And I feel like there's a lot of very free-to-play friendly team comps that I ran here. And some of them, like this one, for example, with Assecius. I mean, obviously, Assecius and Ghoul are not free-to-play friendly, right? But you could use Airseas instead of Assecius. That would work. And there's options to use instead of Ghoul. I mean, you could even use Latalis instead of Ghoul. Well, that's the wrong affinity. Who could use? Any of the Necro guys, really. I mean, you have Adri, you have Zhar'loth, you have Kurza, you have Dalk. He does ultimate reduction. A lot of these teams, you know, you can substitute other stuff in. The Dauntless teams are crazy free to play friendly. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 Dauntless rares that we ran here. The only Dauntless non-rare that we ran was Nimbus. And I mean, look at the damage on these guys. 44 million, 36 million, like they crushed it. Like we could make a third team out of this with these DPS. The Shay teams aren't too bad. I did fire boss with poison. Yep. Alton is a better spot for this team. It is much less frustrating to use against Alton, but my guys are all low level that Alton is going to kill them. So at least with Irzillas, I can control who takes the damage. Corrin's going to take no damage, Latalis is going to take no damage, Alexandra's going to take no damage against Irzillas. If we did Alton, Alton is randomly hitting everyone, so everyone needs to survive. So that's why I ended up with Irzillas on this team. But Corrin's AI with his ultimate is really bad with the skeletons. So to make this work as well as it did, I had to slow it down to 1 time speed and do it manual. But I mean, 29, we did 22 million at the 2.5 minute mark. So if I had committed to the whole run, that would have been about 50 million damage with these guys against the wrong boss. I mean, just crazy. Like this team can pump so much damage. But yeah,